My name is Naseem. I'm 82 years old, and there's a letter I never opened. It came 37 years ago, in an envelope with my name written in handwriting I knew better than my own. I kept it in a drawer, then in a box, then in another box. I told myself I'd open it when I was ready. I never became ready. I'm recording this now because I don't know how much time I have left. The doctors don't say it directly, but I can see it in their eyes, in how gently they close the door. And I'm thinking about that letter, not every day, but often enough that I know it means something. I grew up in a house where we didn't talk about feelings. We talked about results, grades, jobs, marriages, grandchildren. My father worked at the railway office. My mother raised 5 of us in 3 rooms. There was no space for sadness, no time for regret. You kept moving. That's what I learned. When something hurt, you put it away. When someone left, you didn't chase them. When a question had no answer, you stopped asking. Her name was Sana. We met in 1975. I was 26. She was 24. She worked at the post office near Sutter. I used to go there to send money orders to my mother in the village. She had this way of smiling without looking up, like she knew you were watching, but she wasn't going to make it easy. I started going there even when I didn't need to send anything. One day she asked, "Do you have family in every city in Pakistan?" I laughed. She didn't? "No," I said, "just one mother." "Then why do you come here so much?" I didn't answer. She handed me the receipt and said, "Next time, bring a real reason." I started writing her letters. Not love letters. I didn't know how to write those. Just thoughts about the city, about the rain, about a stray dog I saw sleeping under a cart. I'd leave them at the counter, folded, with her name on the outside. She never mentioned them, but she never stopped me either. One evening, she waited for me outside the post office. It was February. The air smelled like smoke and fresh chapati from the hotel next door. She said, "I read your letters." I didn't know what to say. She said, "You write like someone who's afraid." Afraid of what? Of saying what you actually mean. I looked at her. She looked back. Then she said, "I have to go." And she left. We met like that for 2 years. Small moments, quiet conversations, nothing traumatic. I never told my family. She never told hers. We both knew what would happen if we did. Her family was Sindhi. Mine was Punjabi. Her father was a school teacher. Mine was a clerk. It wasn't about love or logic. It was about tradition, about what people would say, about things that didn't make sense, but still controlled everything. In 1987, she told me her family had found someone for her, a cousin, settled in Karachi. Good job, good family. She said it in the same voice she used to hand me receipts. Calm, final. I asked, "What do you want?" She said, "It doesn't matter." "It matters to me." She looked down. "Naseem, I can't fight them, and you won't." I wanted to say she was wrong, but she wasn't. I didn't go to her wedding. I heard about it from someone at the post office. They said she looked beautiful. They said she smiled the whole time. I don't know if that was true. 3 months later, the letter came. I recognized her handwriting immediately. It was thicker than usual, like there were multiple pages inside. I held it for a long time. Then I put it in my desk drawer. I told myself I'd read it tomorrow. Tomorrow became next week. Next week became next month. And then it became a thing I couldn't do anymore, because too much time had passed. Because I was afraid of what it said. Because I didn't want to know if she regretted anything, or if she didn't. I got married a year later. Her name was Farida. She was kind, quiet. She made good biryani. We had 3 children. I worked at a textile company for 34 years. I prayed 5 times a day. I saved money. I bought a house. I became a grandfather. I lived a normal life. But I never threw the letter away. Pause. I'm tired now. I'll continue soon, but I want to say this. I thought not opening it was a way of protecting myself. I thought if I didn't read it, I wouldn't have to feel whatever was inside. I thought I was being strong. I wasn't. I was just afraid. Farida never asked me about my past. She never asked if I loved someone before her. She never looked through my things or questioned the silences. I think she knew. Not the details, but the shape of it. Some women can sense when a man is carrying something. She let me carry it. We had a decent marriage. Not passionate, not cold. Just ... steady. She cooked, I worked. We raised the children. We argued about small things. Money, in-laws, which school to send the boys to. But we never fought about the big things, because we never talked about the big things. I tried to be a good husband. I came home on time. I didn't drink. I didn't gamble. I gave her respect. But I don't think I ever gave her all of me. There was a part one kept locked. Not because I didn't care about her, but because I didn't know how to open it. The letter stayed in the drawer for 7 years. Then we moved to a new house, and I put it in a box with old documents. Birth certificates, school records, ration cards, things you keep but never look at. It felt safer that way, hidden in plain sight. In 1995, my eldest son got married. At the wedding, I saw Sana. She was standing near the back, talking to someone I didn't recognize. She looked older, thinner. Her dupatta was gray. Our eyes met for a second. She didn't smile. She didn't look angry either. Just ... tired. I wanted to walk over. I wanted to ask how she was, if she was happy, if her life turned out the way she hoped. But I didn't. I stood there, holding a plate of biryani I wasn't eating, and I let the moment pass. I asked someone later who she came with. They said her husband had died 2 years ago. Heart attack. She lived alone now. Her children were in Islamabad. I thought about visiting her. I thought about it for months, but I never did. Farida passed away in 2003. Kidney failure. It happened slowly, and all at once. One day she was complaining about her back. A month later, she was in the hospital. 3 months later, she was gone. I sat with her the night before she died. She was barely awake. The machines were beeping. The room smelled like disinfectant and something sweet I couldn't name. I held her hand. She opened her eyes and looked at me. She said, "Naseem, you were a good man." Not "you are." You were? Like she was already speaking from somewhere else. I said, "I'm sorry." She closed her eyes. I know. After she died, the house felt too big. My sons wanted me to move in with them, but I stayed. I didn't know what else to do. I started going through old boxes. I don't know why. Maybe because I had time. Maybe because I was looking for something. I found photos I forgot we took, letters from my mother, a watch that stopped working in 1982, and then I found Sana's letter, still sealed, still waiting. I sat on the floor of my bedroom, holding it. My hands were shaking. I thought, it's been 16 years. What difference does it make now? But I still didn't open it. I put it back. I saw Sana one more time. It was 2011. I was at the market in Sadr, buying vegetables. She was standing by a fruit stall, checking mangoes. She looked the same. A little grayer, a little slower, but the same. I walked up to her. I said, "Sana." She turned. For a moment, I thought she wouldn't recognize me, but she did. "Naseem," she said quietly. We stood there. People walked around us. Vendors shouted. A rickshaw honked. I said, "How are you?" She said, "I'm alive. Not good. Not bad. Just alive." I nodded. She said, "You?" "The same." There was so much I wanted to say. I wanted to ask about the letter. I wanted to tell her I kept it. I wanted to say I was sorry for not fighting, for not choosing her, for disappearing. But I didn't say any of it. I just said, "It's good to see you." She smiled, not with her eyes, just her mouth. "Take care, Naseem." And she walked away. I stood there for a long time after she left. I don't remember if I bought the vegetables. I just remember thinking, I've spent my whole life avoiding this feeling. And here it is anyway. I'll finish the rest now. But I need to say this. I don't think the letter ever mattered as much as I made it matter. I think I used it as a symbol, a place to put all the fear and regret I didn't want to look at. As long as it stayed closed, I could pretend the past was still waiting for me, still unresolved, still possible. In 2018, I had my first heart attack. I was at home, alone. It felt like someone put a stone on my chest. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think. I called my son. He came. They took me to the hospital. I survived. But something changed. When you come that close, you start thinking differently. Not about God. I already thought about God, but about time, about how little of it is left, about all the things you said you'd do later. Later doesn't come. It just turns into never. I started writing things down, not a diary, just ... thoughts. Things I wanted my children to know. Things I wished I'd said to Farida. Things I should have told my father before he died. One night, I wrote. I kept a letter I never opened. I don't know why. I think I was afraid it would confirm that I made the wrong choice. Or worse, that I made the right one. I thought about opening it then, but I didn't. I told myself it didn't matter anymore. Sana was probably gone by now. Or if she wasn't, she'd forgotten about me. The letter was from another lifetime, another version of me. What could it possibly say that would change anything now? But it stayed in my mind. 2 years ago, my youngest son was cleaning out a cupboard. He found the box. He brought it to me and said, "Abba, what is all this?" I looked through it. Old papers, receipts. A photograph of me and Farida on our wedding day. And the letter. He picked it up. "What's this?" I took it from him. "Nothing. Just old mail." He looked at me. "Do you want me to throw it away?" I held it tighter. "No." He didn't ask again. Last year, I got sick again. Not my heart this time. The doctors said something about my lungs, my liver, things wearing out. They didn't use the word dying, but I could hear it anyway. My sons started visiting more often, bringing their children, making sure I ate, making sure I wasn't alone. They're good boys. I don't tell them that enough. A few months ago, I asked my eldest son to bring me the box. He did. I took out the letter. I looked at it for a long time. He said, "Abba, are you okay?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Do you want me to stay?" I said, "No." He left. I sat there, holding it, thinking about all the years it stayed sealed, all the reasons I didn't open it. Fear, shame, guilt, pride. I thought about Sana. I wondered if she was still alive. I wondered if she ever thought about me. I wondered if she knew I kept the letter. I turned it over. The glue had dried out. The paper was yellowed. I could open it now, right now. Finally know what she wrote. Finally stop wondering. But I didn't. I know how that sounds. Like I'm torturing myself. Like I'm being stubborn or foolish. Maybe I am. But here's what I realized. The letter isn't the point. It never was. The point is that I spent my entire life waiting. Waiting to be ready. Waiting for the right time. Waiting for permission I never needed. I waited to tell Sana I loved her. I waited to fight for her. I waited to open the letter. I waited to forgive myself. And all that waiting turned into a life I only half lived. I don't blame my parents. I don't blame tradition or society or fear. I just see it now. How much I gave away. How much I let slip through my fingers because I was too afraid to hold on. Farida deserved better. She deserved a husband who was fully present, who didn't keep a part of himself locked away. I gave her respect. I gave her stability. But I didn't give her me. Not all of me. Sana deserved better too. She deserved someone who would have said, I don't care what anyone thinks. I choose you. But I didn't say that. I let her go. And then I punished myself for it for 37 years. I'm not opening the letter, not because I'm still afraid, but because I finally understand. It doesn't matter what it says. What matters is that I loved someone, and I didn't tell her. What matters is that I had a choice, and I didn't make it. What matters is that I lived a safe life, a quiet life, a life where I didn't break any rules or disappoint anyone, except myself. I think about the young man I was, standing outside that post office, writing those letters, hoping. I wish I could tell him, don't wait. Don't think you'll be braver tomorrow. Don't think there's a right time. There isn't. There's just now. And if you don't choose now, you'll spend the rest of your life wondering what would have happened if you had. But I can't tell him that. He's gone. I'm what's left. I keep the letter in my drawer now, next to my bed. Sometimes I pick it up. I hold it. I think about Sana's hands writing it. I think about what she might have said. Maybe she was angry. Maybe she was sad. Maybe she just wanted to say goodbye. I'll never know. And I've made peace with that. Not because I'm wise, but because I'm tired. Tired of carrying it. Tired of wondering. Tired of living in the past. I don't have much time left. Maybe days, maybe weeks. I feel it in my bones, in my breath. I'm not afraid of dying. I'm afraid of getting to the end and realizing I never really lived. But I think I already know the answer to that. I did live, just not fully, just not bravely. I lived carefully. I lived safely. And now I'm here, 82 years old, with a letter I never opened and a love I never fought for. If you're listening to this, ... If you're young, or even if you're not, if there's something you're waiting to do, ... Someone you're waiting to tell, ... A choice you're waiting to make, ... Don't wait. Not because waiting is wrong, but because time doesn't stop. And one day, you'll be where I am. Looking back, wondering why you hesitated. I don't regret the life I lived. I had good children, a good wife, a good job. I wasn't a bad man, but I wasn't a brave one either. And maybe that's the quietest kind of regret. Not the things you did, but the things you didn't. I'm recording this because I want someone to know. I want someone to hear this and think, I don't want that to be me. The letter is still in my drawer. I'll probably take it with me. Unopened. Maybe that's how it should be. Maybe some things aren't meant to be resolved. Maybe some questions don't have answers. But I know this. I loved someone once, really loved her. And I let fear take her away from me. That's the truth I'll carry to the end. If you stayed with me this long, thank you. I know this wasn't easy to hear. It wasn't easy to say. Maybe you have a letter too. Maybe it's not a real letter. Maybe it's a conversation, a decision, a person. Whatever it is, ... Don't let it sit in a drawer for 37 years. You don't get that time back. My name is Naseem. I'm 82 years old, and there's a letter I never opened. But maybe you still can. If Naseem's story touched something in you, ... If it made you think about your own unopened letters, the choices you're still waiting to make, then maybe it was meant to find you today. This story was brought to you by Funny Fun Audiobook Gala. We tell the stories that stay with you, the ones that feel real, because they are. If you want to hear more stories like this, stories about life, regret, love, and the courage we wish we had, then subscribe to this channel. Turn on notifications and stay with us. Leave a comment below if you'd like. Tell us about your unopened letter, or just tell us you were here. We read every single one. And if this story meant something to you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Someone who's waiting. Someone who's hesitating. Someone who still has time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for staying. This is Funny Fun Audiobook Gala. We'll see you in the next story.